Welcome to Drunk Bible Study. This show's mission is to read every single word of the greatest story ever told. A warning to our listeners, the hosts of this show are sinners, but they're doing their best. There will be drinking and there may be some swears. They did say they'd try to keep it clean, but I wouldn't put my money on it.
I'm Emily, and this is Drunk Bible Study, where my good friends Dedeker and Jace teach me, a born and raised atheist, all about the Bible. So, Jason Dedeker, how we doing today? Dedeker, let's start with you.
Oh, I'm so much better now that I'm here, honestly. I will say that a few months ago when I was in Australia and constantly having to, kind of brace myself for getting ready to record this show, not because it wasn't fun, but mostly because it was heavy drinking at 10 in the morning, and I just had to get my soul ready for this. And now that I'm in a more reasonable time zone, it's just really nice to be like, yeah, at the end of the day, kick back, have some drinks, hang out with my friends, read about terrible genocide and mass murder. What's not to like?
Yeah, I mean, it's pitch black outside. Y'all are way up north, and even where I am, it's totally dark out. So
it's depressing. It's really depressing.
I know, it's all good. But everyone get cozy. Get cozy and enjoy the Bible with some friends. How about you, Jace?
When we were getting close to the end of kind of wrapping up work stuff and getting ready to transition into drunk Bible study time, I went out to the kitchen and I saw Dedeker just kind of leaned back in her chair with one arm over the back, her legs crossed, and a glass of wine already at what was it, 3:45 p.m. or something.
Yeah.
I was like,
Got started early.
Yes, I'm like, this is the life I dreamed of for you. So
beautiful.
Here we are.
I love it. That's wonderful. Yay. Well, okay. We are hopefully going to have a less convoluted week than last week in terms of the Bible. The three of us are trying to remember what happened last time, and it was difficult. It was challenging. You pulled out a big old chart of all of the kings that we've encountered.
Yeah.
And even then it was still difficult because there were two what is the name?
Joash's,
right? aka Jehoash at the same time. Yeah. We need to there it is. Yeah, for all y'all in the chat.
We'll put a link in the Facebook group, the Drunk Bible Study Fans and Fellowship group to this. This is a chart that someone else put together of kind of the timeline of all the different kings of Judah and Israel. And I also, today we looked up a map of where these kingdoms are to just kind of get a sense of what the heck's going on, because the way they jump back and forth between the two different kingdoms just makes it really difficult to follow.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this chart that you've sent to us is interesting because it's kind of like a spreadsheet, really, and it's organizing all the kings by their relationship to the previous king and what God's judgment was on them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's color-coded by pink is they did evil, yellow is either we don't know, or it's they did good things for a while, and then they were evil later, and then green is they did A-okay. And there's a lot of pink on this chart.
Yeah, way more pink than green, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So much pink.
Yeah.
So much evil pink.
Yeah. Lots of bad boys around here. Lots of bad boys.
Yes, so, a lot of bad boys. But it does help because it's kind of lined up so that you can see how each king overlapped with the others. Because when we're reading it, it's always and in the 23rd year of King Jehoshaphat's reign, did King Ahaziah begin to reign? And we're wait, who, what? Which one's which?
Exactly.
Are they related? Or who,
right.
Why? Yeah.
But this kind of lays it out so you can see kind of which kings overlapped with which other ones. And you can see that King Joash, who's the king of Judah, overlaps with King Joash being the king of Israel.
Oh,
so they were actually kings at the same time, which is wild.
But different people.
Yeah.
Bad planning. Bad planning
writing.
right there.
Just bad writing.
You're
right.
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Goodness.
All right. Well, what kind of wine did you pull out at 3:45 in the afternoon, Dedeker?
Oh, I just went straight to the bottle because I was ready. Yes.
Oh, wow.
So I'm drinking a Malbec, an Argentinian Malbec, 2018. 2017.
Lovely.
The wine label's called Phoebus.
Oh.
Phoebus Mendoza. Yes, I'm into it. I mean, it was good wine for 3:45 in the afternoon, and now.
That's great.
Yeah,
Great.
Malbecs are lovely.
That's
beautiful.
Great. Yeah.
What about you, Jace?
I picked that one out, right? I don't think I've even tried any of it yet. I'll have to.
I think you did.
If there's any left after you finish this episode, I'll have to try some. I'm drinking some, one of my favorites. I'm just drinking a Niski wheat, a whiskey
Nice.
neat. Boy, you can tell what kind of day it is. This is Basil Hayden's, which is, a fairly like mid to low priced Niski. But yeah, it's
a new name. We coined the term Niski.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's nice.
Niski,
I like
Niski.
it. And Emily, what about you? What beautiful drink do you have today?
So this is named after my favorite Neil Young song. It's A Harvest Moon. So
it's a good album.
Yeah.
It's a good album.
Yeah, I wish that I could I need to drink some so that I can show it. It's a pumpkin puree drink, and yeah, it has like a nice little topper of kind of like an oat milk foam on top, and then it also has a little bit of cinnamon that's like across it.
I was gonna say, before you even mentioned, I was like, that looks like a pumpkin pie in a glass.
Yeah, exactly. So it's pumpkin puree, it's gin, and then just a touch. Yeah, I know. The recipe calls for gin, and it does make it a little funky, but I like it actually. It makes it, it works well. And I threw cinnamon and nutmeg in there, and then oat milk. And then separately, it has a topper of a little bit of coconut milk, aquafaba for the foam, and more agave. So yeah,
so
it's a pumpkin pie in a glass.
Yeah, if you want to drink your Thanksgiving, that's the direction you should go, which I'm all for these days, especially for this year.
I literally bought a can of pumpkin puree just for this drink.
Wow.
So I'll probably make another one next week for the festivities that are going on in America.
Or you could make a little mini pumpkin pie with it, with the leftover puree or something.
Yeah, there you go.
A little mini boozy pumpkin pie. I like
if
that.
I knew how to make a pumpkin pie, I know how to make a pumpkin pie in a drink, but not a pumpkin pie in real life.
We can coordinate. I got pumpkin pie skills, don't you worry.
Oh, well, that's good. I'm glad. Somebody does.
So I know we said that last week was confusing, but I did want to kind of briefly bring people up to speed for this week. So I was thinking if we did sort of like a previously on Drunk Bible Study, what would be in that? Like, what would be in that collection of scenes? And I was thinking there's Elisha and Joash, where Elisha's like, shoot the ground, Joash, and Joash shoots it 3 times. He's like, you idiot! Why did you shoot it 3 times? You should have shot it 5 or 6 times. What else?
That was weird.
Oh, the
yes, there would be the scene of when we were like gonna try to bury a dead guy and we ran out of time because there was a siege, so we just kind of tossed him into the same tomb that Elisha's in, and the minute his body bounces off the cave wall and lands on Elisha's bones, he springs back to life, and then we never talk about it ever again.
Yep, that's a good one.
That was weird.
That's a good one. Oh, right. We'd have a good scene, too, of, like, some priests taking offerings and then hoarding them, and the king being like, you should repair the temple. And they're like, yeah. And then 20 years later, there's, like, the caption at the bottom, and then they're still hoarding all the money, and he's like, that's it. I'm overseeing you and making sure this temple gets repaired.
Less of an action-packed scene. But...
Yeah.
Yeah, but still. And then just a lot of other stuff happening in the midst of that with people with similar names or identical names, but they're different
Kings
people.
coming and going.
Yeah.
Most
cool
who are
stuff.
evil, some who did all right. No one who's all out good, though.
In the chat, talking about the thistle and it was the oak, or was it the pine or the cedar? It was like a thistle.
I think it was
some kind of parable about a thistle trying to
cedar.
Ask for the daughter of a cedar in marriage, and then an animal came by and crushed the thistle. And it's like a Zen koan, and we all attained enlightenment as soon as we read it.
Yeah, so we're all enlightened now for this next episode.
I didn't feel that way, but I'm glad that you two did. I'm glad that some of us are enlightened now. Yeah, beautiful. Well, just really easy to go on. Yeah.
We're continuing on with 2 Kings chapters 15 through 17. If you want to read along, you can go to drunkbiblestudy.com/read and type in 2 Kings 15-17. With that, we want to remind everyone to read responsibly and drink responsibly.
You can drink along with us, or you can listen while you're in the car.
But please do not do both at the same time.
And with that, 2 Kings 15. In the 27th year of Jeroboam, king of Israel, began Azariah, son of Amaziah, king of Judah, to reign.
Everyone pull up that chart because...
Oh,
Yeah, we really need to already.
I gotta have it like
Goodness.
side by side with the reading.
Yeah. Okay.
16 years old was he when
right.
he began to reign.
Right.
Just a
All these
little-
young boys.
A little
Goodness.
teenage snot. And
Wow.
Maybe he was a nice, very like cerebral, very, I don't know, nurturing little
Responsible
boy. Yeah.
I mean,
You're
if this
just
is
like,
a boy,
no way.
If this is a boy who's been groomed to be king from birth, I don't think there's a good chance that he's coming out of that oven with some, strong ethics and humility. But what
All
do I
right,
know?
fine.
I don't know any
Well,
kings.
Let's see. We'll see.
'Kay.
Yeah, you're right. We don't personally know any kings, so we can't
We
really
don't,
judge.
no.
And he reigned 52 years in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Jechaliah of Jerusalem. He did that which was right in the eyes of Yahweh, according to all that his father
A good
Amaziah
boy.
had done. Yay, good boy.
Well
However,
done. Uh-oh.
the high places were not taken away.
Classic.
The people still sacrificed and burnt incense in the high places.
We got to get rid of all of the high places. All of,
Is it-
or all of the incense. Just
Yeah,
make
which
it,
one
just
is it?
ban it.
It's
Yeah.
gotta be both.
I guess. Well, what do they mean by the high places? Does that just mean that those
It's like
are the shrines?
I think so. It's the shrines to other gods. It's like a freaking
Yeah.
college dorm where they're like, don't burn anything. You're going to get sent home for 6 weeks if you burn anything.
Yeah.
Is that
Okay.
is that a thing? Is that a...
Your RN will stop sleeping
Nice.
with you.
Oh, gosh.
Jeez,
Wow.
Whoa.
Sorry.
This
I
story
never lived
became
in a
very
college.
personal.
I also never lived in a college dorm, so I don't know how it actually goes.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I
okay.
see. So you're not speaking from experience
no.
here.
I thought
Okay.
for sure that was a personal story.
So did I. Yeah.
Yahweh struck the king so that he was a leper to the day of his death and
Oh.
lived in a separate house. Oh, that's sad.
Jeez.
Boy. Yeah.
That was really a lot. Why
Yeah.
why do that? Like that seems like way bigger punishment than other kings have had to deal with.
That is much more specific than we've gotten.
Yeah.
I also want to point out in the chat, thank you, Sherry, for pointing out that it's an RA, not an RN. But
Oh.
you don't know what college I went to. Maybe there were RNs on every single floor of the dorms that I didn't live in. Okay. Back to the story. Jotham, the king's son, was over the household, judging the people of the land. Now, the rest of the acts of Azariah and all that he did, aren't they written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah? Drink for that
Absolutely.
one.
Absolutely they
Yeah,
are.
definitely got a drink for that.
Azariah slept with his fathers, and they buried him with his fathers in the city of David, and Jotham, his son, reigned in his place. In the 38th year of Azariah, king of Judah, did Zechariah, not Zechariah,
Zechariah.
yes, the son of Jeroboam, reign over Israel in Samaria 6 months. He did that which was evil in the sight of Yahweh. Boo.
Classic.
Wait. So did they talked about Jotham and then they just skipped over Jotham? Oh no.
Yeah, you're right. It
Wait, did they?
it was, Azariah. No,
Slept with
Jotham
his-
was Azariah's son, and
Uh-huh.
Jotham took over things.
Okay.
And Azariah died after he was a leper.
Right. So Azariah was wait, I thought it was Amaziah that got leprosy later. Was it
But no,
Oh,
Azariah?
he did that which
he's the
according
son
to
of
all that his
Amaziah.
father.
He's the son of Amaziah. Azariah,
okay.
son of Amaziah, got leprosy, died.
Yes.
Jotham is his son, and all the acts written in aren't they?
Aren't they? Yeah.
And then we're talking about
The next-
Zechariah.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're just like
We're bouncing
bing,
back
bang.
and forth
Yeah.
between Judah and Israel.
Yeah.
I
I
see.
think that's what's
really
confusing.
clear.
It's not
That's really
a
clear.
single
Not.
lineage. It's like at this time, this king was the king of this country, but at the same time, this king was the king of this country, and then it switched, and then let's go back to the other country to keep you
Yeah.
updated. It's
Okay.
like sports announcements.
So I recommend checking out the chart that we'll link in the Drunk Bible Study Fans and Fellowship Facebook group. But yeah, so this King Azariah, he reigned for 52 years, right? So
Yes.
he has 4 kings of Israel went by while he was
oh,
king of
boy.
Judah.
Okay, so we
Oh,
really
wow.
gotta get through him.
4
Shoot,
full
okay.
kings, plus he overlaps with 2 more. So there are 6
Oh my
different
goodness.
kings of Israel who overlap
Okay.
with Azariah
Okay,
and Judah.
all
I
right.
really want the Bible to be written in columns during this.
I
Like,
see the 2
so,
stories.
okay, on one, yes, exactly. On one side is Israel, and on one side is Judah, and then you can read about each as they're happening at the same time. So
Okay, yeah.
Azariah is going to get like a lot more written about him, and then each of the other people have like little teeny bits written about them during his time.
Or even if we just had transitions that was like meanwhile
Any-
in Judah.
Meanwhile.
Yes, meanwhile, erstwhile, yes. Love it.
Okay.
Okay, so I have a feeling that I'm going to have to really grind out a lot of kings.
Yeah,
as
yeah,
it
you're gonna
were.
go through
Just,
them.
just let's do
Okay.
this. Yeah.
He did that which was evil in the sight of Yahweh, as his fathers had done. He didn't depart from the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, with which he made Israel to sin. Shallum, the son of Jabesh, conspired against him and struck him before the people and killed him and reigned in his place. This happens a lot these days.
The message clarifies that he assassinated him in public.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, that's what
Yeah.
it says. Struck him before the people.
Yeah, you
Okay.
just never quite know with the way that's written what that really means.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the rest of the acts of Zechariah,
Ah.
behold, they are written in the book of the
Behold.
Chronicles of
What?
the Kings of Israel.
Oh,
This is
wow.
our first declarative statement about the book of the Chronicles
Will somebody
of the Kings
write
of
that
Israel.
down? Because I want to make sure that it actually is written in there.
We can't, Emily. We can't, though.
It's a
We
technically
don't-
Okay, because
different
it's not the
book.
same one.
It's-
Yeah,
I know,
yeah.
I know.
Okay, fine.
This is wild, though, that they're like, I'm not even going to ask you. I know.
Yeah.
I know for a fact. This is a
The
fact.
writer doesn't have to ask the reader whether or not it's in there.
So cheeky.
Aren't they
even
written? I
even
don't
throw it up.
know.
Behold.
Yeah.
Just
Behold, yeah.
Frickin' sit down and listen to me. Okay. This was the word of Yahweh, which he spoke to Jehu, saying, Your sons to the 4th generation shall sit on the throne of Israel. So it came to pass.
To the 4th generation.
Remember, he cursed Jehu. He was like, I'm going to punish you, but it's not going to kick in until 4 generations from now.
Right.
Is that what he means?
Yeah.
Or does he
Yes.
mean
Yeah.
up
that's-
until the 4th generation, your sons will sit on the throne, and then after that, nah?
Yeah, exactly.
That is, yeah.
Yeah,
After
so-
that, nah.
So Zechariah was the last one who, like,
Okay,
now the delayed
okay.
punishment from Yahweh is coming in.
Okay.
Shallum, the son of Jabesh, began to reign in the 39th year of Uzziah, king of Judah. And he reigned the space of a month in Samaria. Oof,
Wow,
month.
what happened to that guy?
I think that's our shortest record that we got.
Yeah, 1
Yeah,
month.
1
That's
month.
amazing.
Goodness.
Menahem, the son of Gadi, went up from Tirzah and came to Samaria and struck Shallum, the son of Jabesh, in Samaria and killed him and reigned in his place.
Yeah, got it.
It
Now-
feels like just doing kings in general, having kings, like it's not working.
You would think at some point somebody would be like, this system is maybe not sustainable.
Yeah.
Perhaps we should try a different system.
Exactly. We tried this little experiment. We said that we wanted kings. God was like, I don't think so. And they're like, please, God. And he's like, fine, but you're going to hate it. And then
And here we are.
everybody hates it.
Yeah.
/ it just isn't working.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like maybe we should consider being a semi-porous collective of some kind where we switch every week who's actually in charge of the board of decision making.
It is
Yes.
funny, actually, Emily, what you just said, I think is a great summary of all of 1st and 2nd Kings and all of 1st and 2nd Joshua, right?
Like, we want kings. No.
We
Yes,
want
please.
kings. Yahweh says they'll suck. We want them anyway. Everyone hates it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Done. They could have just written that, and then we could have like been on to Chronicles already
Right.
and read about all of these things in there anyways.
Right, exactly. And not 1st and 2nd Joshua. There was only one Joshua. What 1st and 2nd
Yeah, you're tripping.
Samuel, that's what I meant.
Samuel, which wasn't about Samuel. It was about that other guy. Cool.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yes.
Now, the rest of the acts of Shallum and his conspiracy which he made, behold, they are written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel.
This person finally looked it up. They're like, I
He's
keep
very
asking.
declarative.
I keep asking because I don't know, but I've gone and looked it up, and now I can tell you for sure.
No, but question, is it the actual speaker switching his tone, or is it that they switched translators? And it's a different translator who's like, I think this takes more of a declarative tone. We don't have to translate this as a rhetorical question.
Or is it like mid-season of a show and they fire the writer and they hire a new one? And he's got to keep the lore
Different
going
showrunner.
and keep some tropes, but he writes it a little differently.
Like that. Yeah.
Then Menahem struck Tifsah, and all who were therein, and the borders of it from Tirzah, because they didn't open to him. Therefore he struck it, and all the women therein who were with child he ripped up.
Jeez.
What?
I don't like that at all. That's
ripped
horrifying.
Yikes.
Up? What is this choice of verb, translator? Ripped up.
What is the message say?
Using Tirzah as his base, Menahem opened his reign by smashing Tifsah, devastating both the town and its suburbs because they didn't welcome him with open arms. He savagely ripped open all the pregnant women.
Why would the message still hung on to that verb? Why? This
Apparently
is awful.
the ESV also did, says John Michael. Goodness.
In the 39th year of Azariah, king of Judah, began Menahem, the son of Gadi, to reign over Israel, and reigned 10 years in Samaria. He did that which was evil in the sight of Yahweh. He didn't depart all his days from the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, with which he made Israel to sin. There came against the land Pul, the king of Assyria. This is P-U-L, Pul. And Menahem gave Pul 1,000 talents of silver, that his hand might be with him to confirm the kingdom in his hand. Okay, so he's buying off his allies.
Okay.
Menahem exacted the money of Israel, even of all the mighty men of wealth, of each man 50 shekels of silver, to give to the king of Assyria. So the king of Assyria turned back and didn't stay there in the land. Oh, so he paid him off to not fight him anymore.
Right. This is not the first time we've done this move.
Yeah. We have done this before.
Okay.
Now, the rest of the acts of Menahem and all that he did, aren't they written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel?
Now we're
back to questioning.
We're back to
I'm not so sure.
We're not sure again.
Those other guys I really knew, but this guy not a clue, actually.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Menahem slept with his fathers, and oh boy, Pekahiah. Pekahiah. That's what it's going to be. Pekahiah, his son, reigned in his place. In the 50th year of Azariah, king of Judah, Pekahiah, the son of Menahem, began to reign over Israel and Samaria, and reigned 2 years. He did.
Quick kings.
Some quick and dirty kings.
Yeah, it seems like being a king, I don't know, I'd be a little worried. I'm like, these kings are dying at a really quick rate here. I don't know if I want to step into this job.
Well, I think that's why there's stuff like with that one queen, where as soon as she stepped into power, she's like, okay, I got to kill the entire family. And this happened many times in many monarchies all across the globe because it's so tenuous like this, that it really is, okay, now I literally just have to get out in front of it and kill anybody who might have any interest in having power who's not loyal to me. And
or anyone who could claim any right to the throne, who's even remotely related.
Anyone remotely related, I just got to get rid of them.
Wow.
Yeah, that stuff happened all the time.
Yeah.
Sadly. Okay. Oh boy, okay, he did that which was evil in the sight of Yahweh.
Classic.
He didn't depart from the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, with which he made Israel to sin. Pekah. This is P-E-K-A-H. Pekah.
Can we have Detective Pikachu, played by Ryan Reynolds, show up again as this role?
Yeah, he has another little cameo.
Sure.
What was the last role that he played? The donkey?
No idea.
Wasn't he the donkey?
Did he play the donkey?
You
Maybe
play
we
Balaam's
just need,
donkey. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's adorable.
Pekah, the son of Ramaliah, his captain, conspired against him and struck him in Samaria,
Boy.
in the castle of the king's house, with Argob and Arieh, and with him were 50 men of the Gileadites, and he killed him and reigned in his place. Now, the rest of the acts of
gosh.
Pekahiah and all that he did, behold,
Oh.
they are written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel.
Wow.
We're really
We're back.
doing
We're back.
a pendulum
We're back.
swing. In the 52nd year of Azariah, king of Judah, Pekah, the son of Ramaliah, began to reign over Israel and Samaria and reigned 20 years.
Oh, good job, Pika.
He did that which was evil in the sight of Yahweh. He didn't
Classic.
depart from the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, with which he made Israel to sin.
Can I? What did Jeroboam do?
You're going to ask this every single week, Emily.
Have I really asked it every week?
I don't know.
Maybe not,
Variations on a theme. It
Jeroboam,
the
it's
usual
the same.
stuff.
It's the same GD
Okay.
thing. Is that he does
Just the
not
calves.
get rid
The-
of Beyonce and the sexy,
Cool.
sexy golden calves,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
keeps on worshiping them and burning incense left and right. And Yahweh hates that stuff.
It's just funny that they're attributing that to Jeroboam because I'm like, isn't that like a bunch of people besides Jeroboam?
It is, but it's kind of like that's where it started.
I thought
Did it start
The
there?
line
I thought
started.
it started with David, or even Moses, or
It's gone
or
way
Aaron,
back.
or
Yeah, it's gone way
someone.
back. But I think
I mean, technically, it all starts with Adam, but
well, sure. In the recent history of this, I think that Jeroboam was kind of the first one who made those other temples become widespread in Israel and
Okay.
Judah again. I think that's the deal they're saying.
Okay, well, cool.
in the days of Pekah, king of Israel, came Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria.
Which
And-
also sounds like a sort of Pokemon
Right.
evolution.
Pileser sounds like a kind of beer, like a pilsner.
Oh, yeah.
So
Okay.
king of Assyria, and took Ijon and Abel Beth Maacah and Genoa and Kadesh and Hazor and Gilead and Galilee, all the land of Naphtali, and he carried them captive to Assyria.
Okay, this was
Whoa.
important because what we talked about before when we learned about the history of this is that this part of the book was written after the Israelites had been liberated from being captured by the Syrians. And so these books are telling kind of the story of up to them getting captured. So the fact that we're starting to now actually lose some cities to the Assyrians, that's kind of, we're setting that up. It's like we've been evil for so long that we're going to start losing. This is sort of
Losing.
like a book about the downfall of these kingdoms.
Okay, the very,
Okay.
very, 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 very slow downfall.
Very
Okay.
slow. Yeah.
Yeah, this is happening over many, many, many years.
Many generations.
Yeah.
Hoshea, the son of Elah, made a conspiracy against Pekah, the son of Ramaliah, and struck him and killed him. Oh, Pekah.
Poor Pika.
And reigned in his place in the 20th year of Jotham, the son of Uzziah. Now, the rest of the acts of Pekah and all that he did, behold, they are
Behold.
written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel.
Wow.
In the
Nice.
second year of Pekah, the son of Ramaliah, king of Israel, began Jotham, the son of Uzziah, king of Judah, to reign. Can we bounce
Okay.
back?
Yeah, now we're back over in Judah.
To
Okay.
Judah, okay.
He was 25 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 16 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Jerusha, the daughter of Zadok. He did that which was right in the eyes of Yahweh. Yay! Okay.
Oh, good job.
He did according to all that his father Uzziah had done. However, the high places were not taken away. People still sacrificed and burned incense in the high places.
In the message, it says, but he didn't interfere with the traffic to the neighborhood sex and religion shrines.
Always the sex and religion
Whoa.
shrines. And the problem is the message, when you call them that, it sounds way cooler and way more fun than anything else in this book.
Yeah, the
That's
traffic
true.
to them. It's like he didn't put up what, like speed
like
traps
cones
along
and
the way.
yeah, exactly. Diverting people away from them. Yeah.
Some yield signs. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Oh my goodness. Okay. He built the upper gate of the house of Yahweh.
Oh, cool.
There's something.
Love
Cool.
that gate.
What?
Now, the rest of the acts of Jotham and all that he did, aren't they written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah?
I don't know. Are they?
In those days, Yahweh began to send against Judah Rezin, the king of Syria,
Just resin.
and Pekah. I thought I was going to say Pekah for the last time, but here we are. And Pekah, the son of Remaliah.
Wait, is that a different Pika? Or
No, it's the same
it's
one.
the same?
Yahweh is
okay.
sending against Judah Rezin, the king of Syria,
And
is-
Pekah,
and Pekah
the king of
are
Israel.
fighting
Israel.
against Judah.
Right. Okay. Got it.
Jotham slept with his fathers and was buried with his fathers in the city of David, his father, and Ahaz, his son, reigned in his place. That's the end of the chapter. Good Lord, that was
Holy
a long
moly.
one. I have drunk a half of a bottle of wine, y'all.
Oh, gracious.
Wow. Okay. I love
Stedeker, you
that.
need to pace yourself. You
It's
are
not a day for pacing.
Okay. All right.
I think that's
Wow.
a great opportunity to take a brief intermission and to tell our listeners some ways that they can support this show and keep these live shows coming to everyone for free.
And we're back. Hello, everyone. All right, Jace, I believe it's your turn.
Oh gosh, yeah, you're right. Here we go.
Yeah,
We're
so
gonna-
Jace, you have, compared to that chapter, your chapter is like half as long, and then Emily's
Right.
is the longest. So
Okay.
Okay.
gotta
let's do this
really
thing.
strap in here.
Yep. Okay. Well, we're getting right back into it here with in the 17th year of Pekah, the son of Remaliah, Ahaz, the son of Jotham, king of Judah, began to reign. King of Jotham. Oh yeah, so we already moved past Jotham.
Son of Jotham.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay.
King of Judah. Okay.
20 years old was Ahaz when he began to reign. Oh, right, and his father Jotham did good. He was one of the good ones. Okay, so now Ahaz, 20 years old was Ahaz when he began to reign, and he reigned 16 years in Jerusalem. He didn't do that which was right in the eyes of Yahweh his God,
Oh.
like David his father. But he walked in the way of the kings of Israel, yes, and made his son to pass through the fire. What? According to the abominations of the nations, whom Yahweh cast
hold on.
out from
Sorry.
The
before the
abomination
children of
of
Israel.
the nation.
Stop the podcast, please. Can we stop the podcast? Just process that a little bit. Okay, walking through fire and abominations of the
Son.
nations.
To pass through the fire according to the abominations of the nations,
That
whom
sounds
Yahweh
like a punk
cast
rock
out.
convention.
It definitely does. I feel like, yeah, they're going to play Warp Tour. It's going to be a really good time.
Okay, I wrote that down. We'll maybe look into that. But yeah, seems like
Okay.
Molech might have been involved. 'Cause
Molech made an appearance.
he loves
Yeah.
fire. Yeah.
Fire walk with me.
He sacrificed and burnt incense in the high places.
No, he himself did it? No,
Yeah.
not okay.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow. What a bad boy.
And on the hills and under every green tree.
Every
That's not
green
good.
tree?
That's
Every
not
single
good for
one?
the trees.
He sacrificed and burnt incense under every single one of them.
Wow.
Oh,
He just was like,
bad.
check,
Moly.
I did
Yeah.
this tree. He like puts a little like white mark on each of the trees that
Yeah.
he burns incense under. That's amazing.
Then Rezin, king of Syria, and Pekah, son of Remaliah, king of Israel, came up to Jerusalem to war. And they besieged Ahaz, but could not overcome him.
Yikes.
At that time, Rezin, king of Syria, recovered Elath to Syria. I guess took back one of their towns, and drove the Jews from Elath. And the Syrians came to Elath and lived there to this day.
Oh.
So, Ahaz sent messengers to Tiglath-Pilsner, king of Assyria, saying, I am your servant and your son. Twist.
Oh,
Your
really?
long lost
No,
son.
I don't
and
think
also
literally.
your servant. I don't know if that's what it
Yeah.
means.
I'm your servant and your son, come up and save me out of the hand of the king of Syria. Oh, I see. He's trying to get help because we're brothers. Brother. And out of the hand of the king of Israel who rise up against me. Ahaz took the silver and gold that was found in the house of Yahweh and in
Whoa.
the treasures of the king's house and sent it for a present to the king of Assyria.
Oh,
That
that's not
seems
good.
like not a good thing to do at all.
That's real bad.
Well,
Yeah.
but that king before used some of that gold to buy their way to freedom as well. So he's not the first one to use.
Was
But
it
taking
Yahweh's gold?
Yeah, taking Yahweh's gold.
No, I think the other guy did
It
that
wasn't
too.
just from his own private like coffers. He didn't.
The other guy, he had like all like people in his kingdom contribute, like especially rich dudes contribute.
That was the previous one in this episode, but last episode, I think it was, or maybe the one before that, the little baby king pulled together money and he took it
Little
out of
baby
his
king.
coffers and also out of the house of Yahweh, I think.
Okay.
Anyway, whatever. It worked out for him. We'll see how it goes this time. He sent it for a present to the king of Assyria. The king of Assyria listened to him, and the king of Assyria went up against Damascus and took it, and carried the people of it captive to Kir, and killed Rezin. King Ahaz went to Damascus to meet Tiglath-Pilsener, king of Assyria, and saw the altar that was at Damascus. And King Ahaz sent to Urijah the priest, the fashion of the altar and the pattern of it.
Oh, he's like, I
So
love this altar. You
fashionable,
really?
yeah.
He took a picture of it and he was like, "Hey, man, can you make me this?" And he's like,
Right.
"It's gonna cost you, but sure."
Right. I guess it would be
Cool.
like charcoal etchings of the pattern of it, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Jeez.
He drew
Yeah.
a diagram of it.
Yeah.
According to all the workmanship of it, Urijah the priest built an altar, according to all that King Ahaz had sent from Damascus. So did Urijah the priest make it against the coming of Ahaz from Damascus. When the king was come from Damascus, the king saw the altar, and the king drew near to the altar, and it was love at first sight, and offered thereon. He burnt his burnt offering and his meal offering, and poured his drink offering, and sprinkled the blood of his peace offerings on the altar. The brazen altar, which was before Yahweh, he brought from the forefront of the house, from between his altar and the house of Yahweh, and put it on the north side of his altar. Wow, it's a detail that I don't think we care about.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. I'm having a little bit of whiplash right now that we're going from like this king happened, then this king happened, then this king happened, then this
True.
king happened to like he moved some stuff from the right side over to
Yeah.
the left side.
Okay, so he sees
Yes.
this like super fashionable altar in Damascus and sends the designs back. Has Urijah, his priest, make it. He comes
It
back
just
and is
goes
like,
wild on Pinterest.
right, super trending. And then he does all his offerings. And then I guess the other altar, like the previous altar, which was before Yahweh, he brought from the front of the house that was between his altar and the house of Yahweh, and instead put it on the north side of his altar. I'm guessing further away, maybe?
Well, you know, feng shui.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta redecorate every now and then. I guess it makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah. I'm just curious if the message gives any sort of flavor to this.
It is strange that they decided that this was so important that they had to like spend an entire chapter talking about it.
Yeah.
Whereas the lives of these big kings, they're gonna say like 1 to 2 sentences about each of them, and then we're gonna move on.
We just kind of throw them away, really.
Yeah. Well,
Annalisa's asking if this previous altar is the one that Solomon built. Maybe.
I don't. Is
But
it?
yeah,
Guess we can look that
message,
up.
it does say that he displaced God's altar from its central place and pushed it off to the side of his new altar.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
okay.
not good.
That's kinda what
God's
I-
probably not gonna like that.
Yeah. King Ahaz commanded Urijah the priest, saying, "On the great altar burn the morning burnt offering and the evening meal offering and the king's burnt offering and his meal offering with the burnt offering of all the people of the land and their meal offering and their drink offerings and sprinkle on it."
Jace, you've said meal offering like 3 times now.
Yeah, because it was the evening meal
There's
offering.
multiple
then
meal
it's
offerings.
the king's meal offering, and then it's the people's
I
meal
know, we're
offering.
back to all these rules about offerings that
Yeah.
we have not reviewed in
That's true.
almost a year.
We are supposed to keep them in our heads and know them for all of time because they don't really like go over it again since.
Well, we should
What?
have been doing them every day since then, so...
Oh, whoops. So they know what they're doing, but we don't know what we're doing. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And sprinkle on it all the blood of the burnt offering and all the blood of the
Jeez.
sacrifice. But the brazen altar, that's the old Yahweh's altar, shall be for me to inquire by. So like everyone else is going to use this new fashionable altar, and I'm going to use the old Yahweh altar.
Who's me? Who's
King Ahaz. That's what it is.
Okay.
He commanded the priest. Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Thus did Urijah the priest, according to all that King Ahaz commanded. King Ahaz cut off the panels of the bases. Wow, we're really going into detail. Okay. Cut off the panels of the bases and removed the basin from off them and took down the sea from off the brazen oxen that were under it.
Wait, hold on. Okay,
yeah, this
hold
is
on.
from back in Solomon.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's still there. Okay, it's still cracking. We still have this sea with the oxens with their butts facing each other, holding it up.
Yeah, he's just
but
he's remodeling.
He cut the oxen off?
Well, I don't know what they mean by take down the sea.
Well, so the sea was the big bull that was on top of those 12 oxen with their butts toward each other.
Okay.
That he's taken it down. He's removed the sea off of it.
What's he going to do?
And put it on a pavement of stone. So he's put it on a stone base instead of up on the oxen.
Okay.
And he also, it sounds like all the other basins. Remember that we had like 24 basins that we made back with Solomon?
That wheeled around, right?
Yeah, the wheeled basins. That he cut the panels off of those and removed the basins from them. So I think he's like dismantling.
What is he doing with these basins?
This is like a very extreme episode of what was
Extreme
that
Temple Makeover.
Extreme Temple Makeover. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I was thinking of Trading Spaces, but
okay. Sure. Okay. So he took off the sea from off the brazen oxen, set it down on a stone base. The covered way for the Sabbath that they had built in the house and the king's entry outside turned he to the house of Yahweh because of the king of Assyria. Like maybe that's a smaller house.
Okay.
Let me just check the message here real quick to see if it makes any sense. Yeah. Then King Ahaz proceeded to plunder the temple furniture of all its bronze.
See, that's a different, that's a different sentiment here.
Yeah, it says, and then salvaged the 4 bronze oxen that supported the huge basin, the sea, and set the sea unceremoniously on the stone pavement.
Oh, okay. So it feels like the message is a little bit pontificating here and kind of adding some interpretive flair of this is not a good thing for him to be doing.
No, somebody's going to be angry.
He removed any distinctive features from within the temple that were offensive to the king of Assyria.
Oh gosh, it's going to be it's going to be like those really awkward episodes of Trading Spaces where like the people come back to their house and they hate what's happened. Yahweh's going to come back in and just be like, this is not. And then he's going to start crying and the cameras are just going to love it.
Yeah, boy, wow.
And then he's going to kill this guy.
Now, the rest of the acts of Ahaz, which he did, aren't they written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah? Ahaz slept with his fathers and was buried with his fathers in the city of David, and Hezekiah his son reigned in his place.
So wait a minute, there was no like reckoning for this? Nothing like happened?
It may still come, but it seems like he was bad. Yeah.
That's weird. Yeah, I wanted something to happen.
And which king was this doing all this stuff? It was Ahaz, right? I'm just writing it down for a bonus.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Okay, so after him is his son Hezekiah.
Okay. All right.
Now, meanwhile, I'm going to add it. Meanwhile, in Israel, so that was all in Judah. Meanwhile, in Israel, in the 12th year of Ahaz, king of Judah, began...
Wait, this is me, Jess. Why are you
you're right. That was the end of my chapter.
Whoa,
that was so short.
It
was like, excuse me.
Trying to dominate the show. Come on now.
I'm like, I'm sorry. Are you just going to read my chapter too?
Gosh, you're right. Please, take it away. Meanwhile...
Thank you.
In Israel...
Meanwhile, in chapter 17, in the 12th year of Ahaz, king of Judah, began Hoshea, the son of Elah, to reign in Samaria over Israel, and reigned 9 years. He did that which was evil in the sight of Yahweh, yet not as the kings of Israel who were before him.
Okay, hold on. What could that possibly mean? So Yahweh doesn't like him. He's evil, but he's not done it in the same way as the previous kings of letting the high places be high places and letting the incense be burned.
I heard it as like he was bad, but not as bad as some of them.
So he only did it maybe by himself, like in a room.
He just lit some incense on his own.
Yeah, but like nobody else lit the incense. He was
got kicked out of the dorm.
Yeah,
or like,
oh, I like that, Annalisa, burning incense in low places. Yeah.
Or maybe he did put up some like speed bumps and yield signs on the way to the sex and religion shrines, but didn't like block off the roads, you know?
Yeah.
So
no, that's good. Okay. So against him came up Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, and Hoshea became his servant and brought him tribute. The king of Assyria found conspiracy in Hoshea, for he had sent messengers to So, king of Egypt. That's S-O.
That's his name?
King of Egypt.
So?
wow.
So, king of Egypt, and offered no tribute to the king of Assyria, as he had done year by year. Therefore the king of Assyria shut him up and bound him in prison. Whoa.
Can I read the message version of this?
Please.
It's pretty great. So, but Shalmaneser discovered that Hoshea had been operating traitorously behind his back, having worked out a deal with King So of Egypt. And, adding insult to injury, Hoshea was way behind on his annual payments of tribute to Assyria.
Not cool.
Way behind on them.
Way behind. So they bound him in prison, or what?
Yeah, so they threw him in prison and proceeded to invade the entire country.
Whoa, okay. I guess that's going to happen here. Then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land and went up to Samaria. Samaria?
It's me, Samaria.
Yeah. And besieged it 3 years. In the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away to Assyria and placed them in Halah on the Habor, the river of Gozan, and in the cities of the Medes. It was so because the children of Israel had sinned against Yahweh their God, who brought them up out of the land of Egypt from under the hand of Pharaoh the king of Egypt, and had feared other gods, and walked in the statutes of the nations, whom Yahweh cast out from before the children of Israel, and of the kings of Israel which they made. Wow. Okay.
All right.
That was a lot.
So they deserved it.
Yes.
Yeah.
The children of Israel did secretly things that were not right against Yahweh their God, and they built them high places in all their cities, from the tower of the watchman to the fortified city, and they set them up pillars and Asherah on every high hill, and under every green tree. And there they burnt incense in all the high places, as
Under
did the
every
nations.
single green tree.
Every
again. Yeah.
green tree. As did the nations whom Yahweh carried away before them, and they worked wicked things to provoke Yahweh to anger, and they served idols of which Yahweh had said to them, "You shall not do this thing."
Boy.
Yet Yahweh testified to Israel and to Judah by every prophet and every seer, saying, "Turn you from your evil ways, and keep my commandments and my statutes according to all the law which I command your fathers, and which I send to you by my servants the prophets." Notwithstanding, they would not hear, but hardened their neck like the neck of their fathers.
Stiff-necked people. Remember?
That's so
the stiff-necked
funny.
people are back.
Hardened their
Yeah.
neck. Not their heart, their neck.
No, their neck. Like the neck of their
Boy.
fathers who didn't believe in Yahweh their God. They rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers, and his testimonies which he testified to them, and they followed vanity and became vain, and went after the nations that were round about them, concerning whom Yahweh had charged those who should not do like them. Yikes.
Boy. Yep. Bad
They-
news.
Yep, super bad news. They forsook all the commandments of Yahweh their God and made them molten
All
images,
of them.
even
Oof.
2 calves.
Two
Two
calves.
whole
Double
calves.
calves.
2 little baby calves. and made an Asherah and worshipped all the host of the sky.
It feels like this is just like it's spiraling now. Like they're really, like nose diving into the ground of idol worship.
No, yeah, they made molten images, even 2 calves, and made an Asherah and worshipped all the host of the sky and served Baal.
Okay. Can I read you that whole thing from the Message? Because it's amazing.
Please.
So they threw out everything God, their God, had told them and replaced him with 2 statue gods shaped like bull calves, and then a phallic pole for the whore goddess Asherah.
Jeez.
The whore goddess Asherah.
Gosh, I'm sorry. I am just falling deeper and deeper in love with Asherah the more we read this book.
Oh, definitely.
Ironically.
She's the coolest, for sure.
They worshipped cosmic forces, sky gods and goddesses, and frequented the sex and religion shrines of Baal.
I'm sorry. If you want people to not worship these things, you got to do a better job of running a smear campaign. You have to. This is just freaking rad.
At least in the Message, they really make it sound awesome. In these other books, in these other versions, they're just, it's fairly benign. It's whatever. It's just Baal. It's just a calf. Big deal. But they're whores and sex and drugs and come on over.
Is it possible that Eugene Peterson, the author of the Message Bible, was maybe
I like how you say the author of the Message Bible, not the translator, the author.
Well, okay. It's he's taken a lot of liberties, so I think it crosses into author, but sure. The localization, the localizer for the Message Bible, if he was just got kind of worked up. He's getting all excited about
he sounds very
this
excited.
whore goddess and these sex and religion shrines, and that's why he mentions them so much.
What was it? What was the phallic?
The phallic tower or phallic pole or whatever it
phallic
was.
pole for the whore goddess Asherah.
Okay, what are they
Boy, oh boy,
doing some fun stuff on that phallic pole? What's happening?
It's a sex and religion shrine. I'll leave it to your imagination.
Well, there it is. Okay. They caused their sons and their daughters to pass through fire and used divination and enchantments and sold themselves to do that which was evil in the sight of Yahweh to provoke him to anger.
Yeah.
Therefore, Yahweh was very angry with Israel and removed them out of his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Judah only. Whoa!
Okay,
he's
they did
bye,
it.
Israel, I'm done with you.
They've done it now.
In the Message, this next section is in parentheses. After there was only one tribe left, which was Judah, and then in parentheses.
Okay, here, in parentheses. Also, Judah didn't keep the commandments of Yahweh their God, but walked in the statues of Israel, which they made. Yahweh rejected all the seed of Israel and afflicted them and delivered them into the hand of spoilers until he had cast them out of his sight.
He ruined all their TV shows.
He told them the ending to Game of Thrones before it happened, and everyone was like, oh, really? Okay. For he tore Israel from the house of David, and they made Jeroboam the son of Nebat king. And Jeroboam drove Israel from following Yahweh and made them a sin and great sin. Them sin a great sin. That was what it was. The children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam, which he did, and they didn't depart from them until Yahweh removed Israel out of his sight, and he spoke by all his servants, the prophets. So Israel was carried away out of their own land to Assyria to this day. The king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, and from Cutha, and from Ava, and from Hamath and Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel, and they possessed Samaria and lived in the cities of it. Wow.
So they've been conquered now. They've basically been completely conquered now by the Assyrians.
Okay. All right. Too bad for them. So it was at the beginning of their dwelling there that they didn't fear Yahweh. Therefore, Yahweh sent lions among them, which killed some of them.
Okay.
What? I did not expect that.
Whoa, man.
First it was
Jeez.
bears. It was Elisha and the bears. And now Yahweh's like, yeah, plague of lions.
Well, there
Go
was
nuts.
that
Crap.
lion who killed the other guy and then hung out with the
donkey. Yeah. But that's not a plague of lions.
No,
It's true.
that's
That's not a
pretty
lion
awesome.
infestation.
Wow.
Therefore they spoke to the king of Assyria, saying, "The nations which you have carried away and placed in the cities of Samaria don't know the law of God of the land. Therefore he has sent lions among them, and behold, they kill them because they don't know the God of the land."
Wow. Wait, okay. This is great. Actually, this is some great world building here. So the Assyrians have taken over this,
Yeah.
and then they get attacked by lions.
Yeah.
And they're like, so like the God of this area, Yahweh, we don't know like what to do to appease him. And so he sent lions to us. We don't know what to do. So it is
Can
like
you,
this
help us,
interesting
man?
world where they're like, yeah, we acknowledge that this land has a different God than we have in our land. So
Yeah, that is interesting.
that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting that you can go like one land over and there's like a different god and you have to like do the right things for that god.
Right. Sort of a
I mean,
jurisdiction thing. He's like,
When
yeah.
Jason and I, whenever we go to Japan, one of the first things we do is we go to the local Shinto shrine and offer up a little prayer to the Kami-sama of just like, don't F us over while we're here.
Right. It's
Smart,
like we
there you
realize
go.
we've left our jurisdiction and we're now
Don't
in yours.
send some lions, please.
Yeah.
Don't send any
thanks.
lions up in this.
And
Please and thank you.
I mean, as proof, we have never been attacked by lions in Japan.
It's true. It's
So
true.
there you go.
Yeah. I don't even know if there's a single lion in Japan. Maybe in
No, but there's
zoos.
bears. There
Okay,
are bears.
there's bears.
So-
We haven't been attacked by those either.
It's good.
So,
Good.
we
I'm
haven't
glad.
even been attacked by monkeys in Japan, and that's a more real threat because
Ooh.
some of the parks they're around and they can mess you up.
Oh, how cute. Okay. Then the king of Assyria commanded, saying, "Carry there one of the priests whom you brought from there, and let them go and dwell there, and let him teach them the law of the God of the land." So one of the priests
that's cool.
whom they
So they're like bringing back
him-
the priests
get
from
a
Israel.
priest over here.
Get him
He'll
oriented.
tell you what's up.
Yeah.
So one of the priests whom they had carried away from Samaria, God, every time it's Samaria,
Mario.
came and lived in Bethel and taught them how they should fear Yahweh. However, every nation made gods of their own and put them in the houses of the high places which the Samaritans had made, every nation in their cities in which they had lived. The men of Babylon made Succoth-Benoth. The men of Cuth made Nergal. And the men
Are
of
these all their
Hamath,
different the different gods? That's cool.
I guess. I wonder what they do. The men of Hamath made Ashima, and the Avites made Nibhaz and Tartak, and the Sepharvites burnt their children in the fire to
Okay.
wow, Adramelech and Anamelech, the gods of Sepharvaim.
This Melech, do you think this has got to be related to Molech, right?
seems
'Cause
like
you know
they're
that Molech
the
loves
Assyrian
child
version.
burning.
He loves it.
But
He
also
just
that
loves
it's Adramelech and Anamelech. Maybe they had a male-female pair of gods, which we've talked about before in the past, was
Or
pretty
maybe
common.
they were like sisters, like in Ocarina
yeah.
of Time, like the last boss that you fight before Ganon, Twin
Yeah.
Rova. Yeah, that's what they were.
Okay.
So they feared Yahweh and made to them from among themselves priests of the high places, who sacrificed for them in the houses of the high places. They feared Yahweh and served their own gods, after the manner of the nations from among whom they had been carried away. To this day they do after the former manner. They don't fear Yahweh, neither do they after their statutes, or after their ordinances, or after the law, or after the commandment which Yahweh commanded the children of Jacob, whom he named
there it
Israel.
is.
Wow, that's like the highest
There
I've ever
it
gone in my
is.
life.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was like some record setting there.
Whom named Israel, with whom Yahweh had made a covenant, and charged them, saying, "You shall not fear other gods, nor bow yourselves to them, nor serve them, nor sacrifice them. But Yahweh, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt with great power and with an outstretched arm, him shall you fear, and to him shall you bow yourselves, and to him shall you sacrifice. And the statutes and the ordinances and the law and the commandment, which he wrote for you, you shall observe to do forevermore. And you shall not fear other gods. And the covenant that I have made with you, you shall not forget, neither shall you fear other gods, but Yahweh your God shall you fear, and he will deliver you out of the hand of all your enemies. However, they did not listen, but they did after their former manner.
How could you not after that kind of sales pitch?
Oh, gosh.
So these nations feared Yahweh and served their engraved images, and their children likewise, and their children's children, as did their fathers. So do they to this day. The end.
Wow. Okay. Goodness.
So-
Yeah. I feel like
There's a lot to unpack there.
There's a lot
Yeah.
there. I mean, I guess I should have noticed this before. I don't know why I'm only just noticing this now, but I'm like, there's such a heavy message of like, you need to integrate into our culture.
Mm-hmm.
There's no option. I'm sorry. And
They're
it
like,
makes a lot of sense for
nah.
how our own culture has turned out.
Boy, yeah. Well, so also, just if we look at our chart that we talked about earlier about the kings of Judah and Israel,
yeah.
that Hoshea, that last one that we talked about in Israel, he's the last, because after this point, Israel is just gone. It's captured by Assyria. So all the rest of Second Kings, the only kings we could have are the kings of Judah, or kings of Assyria, I guess. But like Israel, gone. It's gone. It's been conquered.
Whoa.
It's been taken over.
Wow.
So we've had our first like big fall. That's like, yep, even today, still today, they're worshiping these other gods.
Jeez.
Wow.
Well,
Jeez.
That was fun. That was
That was
fun,
cool.
you two.
I enjoyed that one. I know there was still
Yeah, that
a lot
was
of
a
lists
good-
of kings, but there was still some fun.
I tried to make it fun.
There was some decorating. There was some sex shrines. There was a big phallus. Lots of fun stuff.
That was definitely the most exciting part.
Yeah, the giant fellows. Yeah, it's fascinating. So is he basically saying that these other places near Israel they just like don't worship Yahweh still to this day?
I think they're saying that even in Israel,
Okay.
to
there
the
are
point of this
places.
writing to this day, all of them now worship the Assyrian gods and like kind of acknowledge Yahweh, but don't really follow him.
Again, I find it so fascinating that there are these other gods and that this book acknowledges that there are other gods, but that you shouldn't worship them, but they are there. Whereas, like, the idea that I've always heard in, I guess, Western culture is that there's only one God and that's it. Not that there are multiple gods and you shouldn't worship them.
I'm realizing now that even if you take a step back and just kind of look at this politically, not even religiously or spiritually, it's kind of this implication. It actually does make a lot of sense where it's like, oh my God, if the people are starting to worship the gods of our oppressors, that means that they're like integrating and starting to commingle in a way that risks us losing our identity.
Yeah, we're losing our culture as the Jewish people.
Yeah, and so it's really important for us to be very extreme and like, no, you need to worship Yahweh. He is going to send lions into your face.
Yeah. Okay.
It's interesting. It reminds me of way back when we had Brian from Queer Theology on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And in the part that we were reading at the time, we didn't get this, but he talked about how if you look at it one way, you can see the kingdom of Israel and the Israelites as being very oppressive of other cultures. But in another light, you can look at them as the ones being oppressed, and their behavior can be interpreted very differently either way, right? Either it's like fighting to hang on to our culture, or it's trying to impose our culture on everyone else. But what's interesting is from what we've read so far, they've been both. They've been both, right? They have absolutely 100% been the ones committing genocide and oppressing other people, but also we see situations like this and many others where they're actually the ones who are being enslaved or oppressed and having their culture assimilated out of them.
Yeah.
So it is interesting to see kind of both sides of that in this story here.
Fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Boy,
Well,
that got deeper than I expected at the end there. Sorry.
no, thank you. Thank you for that. Wow.
And then we're going to be continuing, and we're going to finish this book, the live show. We're going to finish it the week before Christmas. Or if you're listening to the recorded version, the last episode will be released on Christmas Eve. So that's fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can listen to this
goodness.
at some point over the break, because then we're going to take a couple of weeks off before we come back mid-January.
Yes. And then 2020 will be over, as Daniel says. Yay.
Gosh,
Good
check that one off the
riddance.
list.
Yes.
2020, check. Completed.
Yeah.
Did that one.
Cross that one off. Goodbye. Yeah. How exciting. And then, yes, Chronicles 2021. How beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a new day. It's a new book.
Thank you all for joining us for Drunk Bible Study today. If you want even more Drunk Bible Study, including ad-free episodes, early releases, and personal toasts on the show, and more, become one of our patrons at patreon.com/drunkbiblestudy. If you enjoy the show, take a moment to subscribe and then write us a nice review on iTunes or Stitcher, letting other people know what you like about it. You can also join fellow listeners in our Facebook group, Drunk Bible Study Fans and Fellowship. Find us on Twitter at Drunk Bible Cast, on Instagram at Drunk Bible Study, or send us an email to info@drunkbiblestudy.com. Drunk Bible Study is created and produced by Dedeker Winston, Emily Matlack, and me, Jace Lindgren. Our theme song is Book Club by Josh and Anand from their album Home of the. The theme song for 2 Kings is Gotham by Avatar. For more information, visit us at drunkbiblestudy.com.